welcome back to another episode of Saddlebag Lunch. My name is Pete. Welcome to my channel, 1822 MC Adventures and More. Today, I'm out here in the National Forest. I'm going to make myself some lunch. And if you are traveling with a little bit of planning, you could do the same basic thing I'm doing, just maybe change the menu a little bit. But basically what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be cooking some broccoli, cheese, and rice mixed in with some ham. And I've got some sliced peaches in here. I've got some graham crackers for a snack. I'm going to be making some coffee. And this won't take me any longer than it does to make something in a restaurant. Sit down with a bunch of boobs and people that are sick, hacking and coughing, carrying on, not minding their manners and whatnot, where all you got to do is pull off into a field, the edge of a woods, national forest, truck stop, someplace safe, someplace quiet. Whip out your stuff, make yourself a quick lunch, be on your way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gas up my alcohol stoves. Today I'm using penny stoves. I'm not going to go into a great detail about those. Look them up. There's 1,001 times 10 videos on how to make an alcohol stove, but I will show you this. Basically, you take 2 beer cans and you cut them at about 3/4 of an inch, and they're both the bottoms. This is the bottom of a beer can and this is the bottom of a beer can. Some holes in the middle, and have a vintage penny. It's got to be before 1980. It has to have copper. And then you fill this up with alcohol and you light it up, you get it going, you put the penny over there, and then some magic stuff happens and it acts like a stove and it'll cook your stuff right up. So you gas these things up and we'll start cooking. And the alcohol today that I'm using is actually heat for your fuel line. It's your best bang for the buck. You just pour it in a little at a time. Now, people that backpack, they measure this stuff out to like the exact ounce and whatnot, but I travel on a motorcycle. I can always go get more at the store. But the whole idea is once the alcohol's in there, I guess what it does when you light it up is it starts to vaporize, and then as it's vaporizing, the flame comes through all the little holes and you got you a stove. But I would also like to say, I always have a plan B, because if it's really windy out, this might not work. So don't forget, if you're going to be using an S-Bot stove, designed in Germany around 1933. They have not changed the design of it one bit. These work with heat tabs and also alcohol stoves. Great little stove, takes up no room in your pack, and it'll cook anything you want just about. And remember, it's alcohol. You're not going to see it burning. Just take my word for it, it's burning. You'll hear it. Alright, so we just kind of... Let's get cooking. First things first, I need a cup of water in here. And I need to put my penny in there. Alright. Alright, excellent. Okay, so we'll put that right there like that. And then we'll put my water in there like that. And now we're going to put 2 cups of water in the canteen cup, because I'm making 2 cups of coffee at one time. Alright, there we go. I ain't worried about germs. I'm not going to infect myself. I wouldn't do that if I was traveling with somebody, though. Okay, so we got all that going on. Let's see here. side up there like that. Ouch. And don't forget, those things will be hot. Very hot. All right, can of ham. So here is the good stuff. This is what you just go in the grocery aisle where they got all the dried up sides like rice and beans and all that good stuff. Take your choice. So I got 50 cents worth of that in there. Now I'm fixing to put $1 worth of canned ham in here. And as I get this rolling, I want to share a really funny story. Last week, I'm out here and I'm camping. I knew it was going to get down to like 30 degrees. So I'm thinking, well, let's do a cold weather check on my gear. So I come out here, did pretty good. I had one failure and one partial fail. Do not sleep with a beanie. If you sleep with a beanie, every time you roll over, it's going to fall off your head. Your head's going to get cold and you wake up cold. Use a balaclava. Slide it up over your head. You'll look like a freaking federal agent or a terrorist, either one. That's what you'll look like, but you will stay warm. And the only other half fail I had was I had a 3-season sleeping bag that's good to about 45 degrees on it, if I'm lucky. I put that out here. I slept on my air mattress, a sheepskin, my sleeping bag, and then I had a wool blanket up over the top of that. And as long as the blanket stayed on top of me, I was warm. But when the blanket would slide off, I'd start getting cold. But back to my funny story. So I'm out here, I'm camping, I'm fishing, and I'm having a good time, and it's starting to, the temperature's dropping fast, and it's getting dark. And so I start a fire, and I had a fire burning maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and it'd probably been dark maybe a half an hour. And all of a sudden, I hear this big splash. Sounded like somebody threw a rock into the river. And I'm like, what the heck is that? Well, that was my first thought, that someone threw a rock in. And I'm like, well, I'm out here all by myself. There's no one else in the woods. A deer must have jumped into the river. That's what I'm thinking, right? A couple minutes later, same thing. Big old splash in the river. I'm like, damn. A deer wouldn't do that twice, and I don't even think he'd do it once. So now I'm starting to think stupid stuff. I'm like, now I know there is no such thing as a swamp ape or a Sasquatch in the Croatan National Forest. Never, ever have I heard any stories like that. I have heard stories of old-timers talking about there's Black Panthers out here, and yes, I actually saw one about 10 years ago. I seen one run across the road. Hand to God, I saw a Black Panther. Wasn't sure to even ask anyone about it. I went to the oldest person I know around here. I asked them about it, and he's like, what he said was, oh yeah, they're out there. You just don't never see them. He says, you're lucky to see one. And I saw one, Black Panther. But anyways, back to the story. So I'm thinking, all right, I know for a fact there ain't no swamp apes in the Croatan National Forest. So I'm thinking, what do we got? An angry homeless dude on the other side of the river, mad that I woke him up? Do we have a hermit living on the other side of the river? I'm starting to think weird stuff now. And this keeps going on. This went on like at least 10 times. Every time I hear this big splash, I run down to the river with my pistol and my flashlight. And you talk about wishing, just plain wishing I had something besides a pistol, because I'm not scared, but I'm getting a little nervous, because I mean, there's these weird big splashes. This sounded like someone's throwing rocks into the river. And I know it's not tree limbs because they snap first. So now I'm thinking, man, what am I going to do? If it happens one more time, I'm thinking, man, I will literally swim across this ice-cold river in the middle of the night and I will George Washington your if you don't stop doing this. You know, I'm starting to think weird. And then all of a sudden, just something just says, turn your flashlight on one more time. So I turn the flashlight on, and I said, psh, big splash in the water. Otter. There was a family of otters. I guess they had a den right down the river from where I was camping. And they're going up and down the river. I guess they're looking for food. And they're climbing up on the bank, and then they're jumping back in the river and whatnot. And I'm like, oh my God, right? So I look it up on my phone real quick. Yep. River otters are nocturnal. Problem solved. But there for about 5 minutes, I'm thinking, man, am I going to run into a Bigfoot out here or a swamp ape? I don't know. But it was kind of creeping me out. So I think it was pretty funny, I can tell you that. There for a few minutes, I was starting to fret. And I knew good and dang well there's no such thing as a swamp ape out here. But yet, my mind was starting to trick me a little. And like I said, every time those otters splashed in the river, it sounded like someone was throwing a big rock. And really, actually, where I'm at here, there ain't no rocks to be throwing to start with. But it's funny how your mind can play tricks on you when you're out in the woods. But it's pretty funny. Talk about standing out there with my tactical light and my pistol, wishing I had my trench gun. Because I would have been a lot less nervous with a 12 gauge with bear slugs in it versus little puny hollow points out of a pistol. But it's all good. Like I said, it was pretty funny. It wasn't very funny at the time. I was kind of nervous about it until the problem was solved. And I believe that there is about done. I'm going to put the cover on there and let it rest. Looks like the coffee water is just about hot. And this here, this is brown sugar. This is coffee pre-measured out for 2 cups. So I'm going to dump that on in there. Stir this up with my knife because I've already dirtied up my spoon. Actually, there's still some gas left in that, so let's see, that's not hot, that's excellent. This is hot, I know it is. Let me put that right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put a little brown sugar in this here coffee. Oh, I hate it when that happens. With a semi-clean utensil. So there's 2 cups in there, so probably for me, about half of that. Well, maybe not half. Probably about a third of that. Probably a decent sized spoon. Stir that up. And damn if I don't know better than to f***ing do that. Because it's just freeze-dried coffee, I got to put a little sugar and a little creamer in there. Maybe it won't taste quite so bad. Let that heat back up a little bit. Okay, so while I'm letting that rest, time for me to clean up my mess. Because, as always, the only thing I will be leaving out here today will be my tire tracks. Hopefully, you do the same thing. So everything's rested, and I'm about to eat. So, alright, so here we go. Some freeze-dried coffee that has cream and brown sugar mixed into it, so that's probably going to be pretty good. And over here I have a medley of canned chunk ham and some rice and cheese and little bits of broccoli in it. Took about 7 minutes to make it. It would take you about that long to get your food on a good day at a restaurant on the road. That's good. That's real good. Like I said, why would you want to eat in a restaurant? Here it is, believe it or not, January 15th, and it's like 65, 70 degrees out. Beautiful day to have lunch in the woods, or even lunch on the side of the road. And sometimes, and I'll need to start doing this to show you that it's true, sometimes you see a little dirt road on the side of the highway. All you got to do is pull down there 50 feet, enough to get off the road, set up your little kitchen, make your lunch, clean up, be on your way. You could do this at a wayside rest. Just go to the last picnic table, set up your camp, make your lunch, be on your way. You could do this at a truck stop. You could do this anywhere that where you can light up a stove. Parking lot, city park, any place that's along your way, then you're traveling. And so far, what I have into this meal is, man, it's hot. I have $1.50, and it's good. I mean, I got rice in here. I got little bits of broccoli. Supposedly there's some cheese in here, and some ham. This will get me through the rest of the day, well into dinner time. I'll finish this off, and then I'll eat some peaches. And that just about wraps up another awesome Saddlebag lunch. Today we had broccoli, cheese, and rice cooked up with some chunk ham. I had $1.50 into that. A can of sliced peaches. Honestly, don't remember what this cost. I'm thinking it was somewhere around 30-40 cents. Honestly, I don't remember. Next time I go to the big city to stock up on food supplies, I'll make a note of that. So, still got less than $2 into the meal. 2 packs of freeze-dried coffee. So there's probably another 20 cents or so. So now we're getting close to $2. Some graham crackers, Scooby-Doo graham crackers at that. These are 3 for $1, so there's 33 cents. A little fun-sized Snickers, and then some optional like high-C type drinks. So I mean, I don't even have $3 into my lunch, and I guarantee you, I got way more nutrition for $3 than you would get for $3 on the dollar menu at any fast food restaurant. And even if you go into a decent restaurant, you'll be there for about a half an hour, and you can just pull off, find you a safe place. You can cook you a decent lunch in less than 20 minutes and be back on the road. And you don't have to put up with a bunch of nonsense. And I guess back to my Bigfoot story. Just remember, just because you're out in the woods and something goes bump in the night, it might not necessarily be something bad. It might just be some otters out there swimming around. So don't let your mind jump to conclusions. And I hope it has inspired you to maybe make your own lunches when you're traveling. Doesn't cost a lot to do it. All you got to do is make up your mind to do it. You'll save you a lot of money. Think about it. If you do this twice a day while you're traveling, you can eat breakfast for less than $2. You can eat lunch for less than $3, right? So now you're talking maybe $5 or so for lunch and breakfast. Well, then maybe you can afford to eat in a restaurant later on that day for dinner. You know, go to a salad bar and really pig out or whatever. But the whole point of me doing these saddlebag lunches, like I said, is just to show you that when you're traveling, you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money. You can do it on the cheap, and you don't have to eat crap while you're doing it. A little bit of planning, almost like you're going camping. Well, in my case, I am camping because when I'm traveling, I ain't staying in hotels anymore. Unless there is a storm, I won't stay in a hotel. I'd rather come out here and take my chances with whatever's out here in the woods versus what might happen at a cheap hotel. Because if you're traveling and you get stuck somewhere due to a storm and you end up in a $35 a night hotel, well, there's liable to be people like you that just got stuck there because of the storm. That, and generally speaking, the super cheapest hotels on the road always seem to be, don't anybody explode, seems to be owned by a and they always look at you like they fucking hate you. Maybe that's because they do. But I have found, rather than spending $35 on a hotel that's dirty, probably got bed bugs in it, and no one gives a I had me a wonderful lunch out here, right down here by the White Oak River. Of course, this could be anywhere. This could be along the interstate. This could be along a state highway, wherever. Doesn't matter. But it's time for me to clean up. Then I'll put all my trash in a bag, pack up, and the only thing that you will see here when I leave will be my tire tracks. So thank you again for watching another episode of Saddlebag Lunch. Until next time, peace.